everybody, and welcome to 19 at noon. I'm meteorologist Ashley Smith here in the First Alert Streaming Center, making sure I've got all my ducks in a row. It appears that I do. Obviously, as the title says, long title, but we have a lot to talk about. I actually found out for the first time my thing was too long, and I had to rewrite it. But we are talking about rain today, a cool down tomorrow, and then the biggest topic that we'll talk about is Wednesday and Thursday. Big impacts to traveling if you do have plans to be traveling for the holiday. Of course, Thursday, we have the Thanksgiving Day race. Yeah, so, Let me see here. And just, a lot of people getting out and about, even if they're not traveling necessarily, they are going to, maybe a holiday dinner, whether it's at a family or friend's place, whether it's, at a local restaurant, maybe going to volunteer. I used to do that in high school, I guess middle school and high school, go volunteer on Thanksgiving Day. I know that's a very popular thing too. So anyways, a lot of folks will be traveling is my point and on the roads. I was just looking up how many people run the Thanksgiving Day race here in Cincinnati, and it's Google is not super accurate. I'm going to have to maybe contact the organizers, but it looks like between 13 and 15,000. It is so big. I think it grows more and more each year. So a lot of street closures for that as well. So be aware of that. I believe the race itself starts at 9 a.m. Streets start to close at 8:30, although some of those start as early as 6:30. So yeah, again, another thing, if you are going to be traveling around here, even locally, that's something to be aware of. So a lot going on, a lot to talk about. Let's get right into it. Okay. Happening outside right now, it's actually not too bad. I know if you are with me a lot, I often mention this, that the Queensgate cam, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. We don't really know until we try to use it. So obviously not working right now, but it looks dark here at Newport-on-the-Levee. I think it's just, the angle of the camera and the time of day, but just a cloudy day, an overcast day, a quiet day, that's for sure. But we will see rain later today. Let's first kind of break down these first alert weather days. Wednesday and Thursday are the first alert weather days. You'll see us mention, or you'll hear us mention Friday as well. That's not necessarily a first alert weather day, but it's going to be very cold and blustery on Friday. So while we're not looking at any kind of significant precipitation, could be some flurries on Friday, it's still going to be one of those days where we want to make sure that you're aware of how cold it's going to be. But Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to see that rain Wednesday evening change over to snow. Snow looks to be very light because the amount of time that we see the snow, the amount of time that we have between when the rain ends and the snow starts and how long that snow lasts, it's pretty brief. So accumulations will be little to nothing. And then that mix of rain and snow does end by about midday Thursday. It's actually, the models have kind of pushed up the ending of that. So it doesn't last as long. It ends sooner. All of those will be good things on Thursday. Radar right now not picking up anything locally, but as we widen the view, there is plenty of kind of moisture to work with off to the west and southwest. And so we will see the chance for more significant rainfall later today. Today is warm though, 61 degrees. I've been saying it could be the last warm day for the entire year. Of course, it's hard to tell, but as we look out the next 7 to 14 days, there is nothing like this, that's for sure. So enjoy this relative warmth while it lasts. Temperatures actually in many spots have already climbed into the 60s today. So that's pretty much where we'll stop thanks to the cloudy skies. But 61 in Westchester and Mason, 60 in Dry Ridge and Warsaw, 59 degrees in Batesville, 57 in Connersville, but most spots upper 50s and low 60s right now. Okay, so again, looking at kind of the timing of these first alert weather days, because if you are going to be traveling Wednesday and Thursday, my best advice is to try and hit the road. Well, if you can go tomorrow, that's perfect. But early in the day on Wednesday, because by 5 to 6 p.m., we're seeing that rain move in on Wednesday, changes over to snow by Thursday morning. Snow is not going to stick. Now, maybe elevated surfaces, grassy surfaces, perhaps we see a little bit of snow, but most of that snow does melt on contact, and then it just turns downright cold on Friday. Could see a few flurries Friday, but doesn't look like a big deal. Okay, so let's break this down in your hourly forecast. Today we see that rain return by the afternoon and evening. Could be some really heavy rain at times, by the way, this evening. Hello, Susan. And then we'll see that rain kind of move out of here late this evening. However, look at this, 10, 11 p.m., still some pretty heavy rain. By tomorrow, we are dry the entire day Tuesday. Lots of sunshine in the afternoon. It's cool. But of course, it's been very warm. So while temperatures will be in the mid 40s, that is a little cooler than normal. It's not far from the normal high, which is 50. Rain returns Wednesday, especially into the evening hours. Now, again, here's the deal. If you're traveling Wednesday, and I'll show you the wider view, because if you're traveling, into surrounding states, maybe Chicago, the upper Ohio Valley, maybe Nashville, whatever it may be, I'll show you that forecast as well. But just remember that rain is going to be heavier further to the north. That's also where you're going to see that switch over first, is further to the north. But definitely some heavy rain Wednesday evening, 5, 6 p.m. That rain starts to move in. And then look at it change to snow. I'll slow this down a little bit. We'll also back that up a bit. Okay. So changes over to snow, say it starts to mix as early as 9 p.m., changes over to snow, especially the further north you go, by 10, 11 p.m. Some of us may never see snow. The further south you go with that temperature profile the way it is, you may not see any snow if you're, say, in Falmouth or Maysville. Further off to the southeast, it may stay rain the entire time. And then further to the north, it's snow for several hours. But again, it does not look like it's going to last very long into the day Thursday. So that Thanksgiving Day race, the big one, which there are others, but the really big Thanksgiving Day race at TQL doesn't start till 9 a.m. I think the snow's already over by then. But say you're doing a local turkey trot and it starts at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, could still be dealing with some of that snow kind of lingering across the area. Now, let's look at the wider view. Okay. Might just have to take this full. Okay. So what we're seeing today, again, could see some of that heavier rain later this evening. It gets out of here tonight. Tomorrow is dry. Here comes the rain again tomorrow. But I wanted to show you again this kind of wider view, because say perhaps you are traveling to northern Indiana, Chicago, parts of northern Illinois, say even northern Ohio, you're going to run into that mixed precipitation a little bit earlier. This is at 5 o'clock Wednesday evening. So just keep that in mind. If you're traveling, make sure you check that forecast as well. We'll continue to kind of show these wider views too, so that you can take it all in. By midnight Thursday, we're starting to see that transition around here. But again, as I mentioned, some spots may never change out of that rain. It may stay rain the entire time. So it does not look like that snow lasts very long. And then we're already maybe completely dry. Let's see what time this model dry this out. 1, maybe even noon. So yeah, it does look like the models are kind of speeding up the ending time of that precipitation, bringing in the drier air earlier. So that's good news for anybody that is traveling. Then as we look ahead to the weekend, we will see the chance for flurries, perhaps Friday. It's very cold though. And then again, remember if you're traveling, there's where the snow will be Friday morning. Off to our north, to the east, a big portion of West Virginia. That's good news for those ski resorts in West Virginia. Of course, Perfect North's sister snow resort is there in Canaan Valley in West Virginia. So that's good news for them at Timberline. And then we're seeing, for us, snow returning Saturday evening. This kind of moves in from the west, though. Look at this kind of clipper system, if you will. Doesn't last very long, but that could bring us some more snow by Saturday evening. And then right now, Sunday to me looks dry, but we can't rule out a few flurries. So you'll see that reflected in the 7-day forecast. Now let's look at rainfall totals. This is taking us through, I believe, Friday. So this is any rain that we get today and Thursday, especially Wednesday and Thursday, I should say. It's less than an inch. It's not a lot of rain. It's really not. It's just at times that rain could be heavy enough to, of course, slow down traffic, cause puddles on the roadways, those types of things. I don't think the snowfall forecast is going to go out far enough, but we could look at it just for funsies. Here, let me see how far out this goes. We really only need it to go to, yeah, like Friday morning. Okay, so let's go through the models here. Again, remember that it's probably going to be a wide range. Okay, this is the GFS, gives us 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch of snow. The European, very similar, 2/10 or less. Many of us seeing nothing at all. That one's going to be, it's too far out. And then the North American model, per usual, definitely way too high, showing a couple of inches. That will definitely come down over time. It always does. So not a lot of snow as we expected. Let's look at the 7-day forecast. Oh, I know what I wanted to mention. We'll go back here in a second. Okay. So today, 61, we drop to the mid 40s. Tomorrow, we stay in the 40s Wednesday and Thursday. Again, just a few snow showers Thursday morning, but drying out by the afternoon. And then very cold this weekend. Highs only in the 30s, overnight lows in the teens and 20s. It will feel colder than that once you factor in that wind chill. Now, if you remember, we've often had these maybe a cold day or two. It's more like a cold snap. That's not the case with this one. Look at this. As we go beyond the 7-day forecast, and you're looking through the first week of December all the way to December 8th, actually, it is downright cold. Highs in the 20s and 30s, lows in the teens and 20s. I mean, that's well below normal for this time of year. We should be upper 40s, low 50s. So not a lot of snow, though, so that's something to keep in mind. But yeah, we're talking about a lengthy period of time with very cold weather. So just want to remember that because, yeah, recently it's been just, like I said, a couple of days. Now I'm getting a spinny wheel, so we might have to dance for a bit. Well, let me see if there's any. I'm dreaming of a white Thanksgiving, says Susan. I mean, it could be white, very brief. Not going to last very long. Okay, the spinny wheel is done. This forecast actually needs to be updated, so I will not show that. But as we know, it is the holiday season. Lots of outdoor events happening this time of year. Where did I put those? Oh, here we go. Okay. So if you're going to the Festival of Lights this evening, of course, that started the end of last week. And so it's completely open now. There are the hours, by the way. It continues all the way through January 5th. It is open Sunday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m., Friday and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. So tonight it's open till 9. And if you get there early, you can check out the animals while it's still light and a little bit warmer. And then the lights really get good by about 6 when it's complete darkness. So yeah, that's the forecast. Cincinnati's Nights of Lights is actually closed tonight due to some construction in the area. That's the one that's now at the Claremont County Fairgrounds. It used to be at Coney Island. It's now been moved, of course, because Coney Island closed. And so now it's in Owensville. So if you're going there, closed tonight. Yeah, I had a Thanksgiving forecast, but I actually think I'm going to change it. I think I'm going to change, make a couple more tweaks to the timeline graphic too, because these models are starting to come into better agreement with getting rid of that rain and snow earlier in the morning. So that's good news. All right, let's go back and look at the hourly forecast for today and Wednesday and Thursday. Oh, thank you, Susan. That's very kind. Yeah. It's nice to have the interactivity because obviously when we're doing normal weather shows, we don't really get to talk with you guys, but we feel like we do on here. So that's very nice. Okay, so here comes that rain again later this evening, 5, 6 p.m. We're seeing some of that heavier rain. Kind of ideal timing because it's after really the peak rush. But again, if you're heading out this evening, I was actually going to go get my Christmas tree this evening, and then I was like, doesn't look great. So I'm going to get that when it's actually a little bit drier. But yeah, so if you have evening plans tonight, keep that in mind. I actually think the model's overdoing it, but all of the models agree, so it's hard to kind of ignore it. either way, I think we're going to have some rain this evening. It gets out of here by tomorrow. All day Tuesday is dry. We start off in the 30s. We only warm into the mid 40s. And then here comes that rain returning Wednesday. So again, Wednesday, if you're flexible with your travel and you can leave earlier in the day Wednesday, I would highly recommend it before this rain moves in, because at times that rain is definitely going to be heavy enough to slow down traffic. The changeover to snow, especially north of Cincinnati, starts around, say, sunset, or a couple hours after sunset. I keep forgetting the sun's setting so early now. But closer to 7, 8 p.m., you could see that changeover north of Cincinnati. And then after midnight, everybody sees at least a few flurries. But notice that this model really keeps the rain south and southeast of Cincinnati, and then north and northwest. So you're kind of cutting this in half, kind of along I-75. Usually we talk about 71. This is actually more 75. So not everybody sees the snow, but the roads are still wet. Even where we see the snow, it's going to melt on contact. So it's not a huge deal. Hello, Becky. Then let's pull up the 7-day forecast one more time. And I think that'll be about it. Okay, so again, today, the warmest day for a long time. And then we have the coldest air we've had since March. So we really have quite the difference here on that 7-day forecast. But 61 today, down to the 40s tomorrow. We stay in the 40s Wednesday and Thursday, and then it turns downright cold. Even though we do have snow on that 7-day forecast, none of it is expected to accumulate. So you don't have to worry too much about that. But the overnight lows in the teens and 20s, that is some cold air, because it's going to feel even colder than that with those blustery conditions into the weekend. Let me actually look more at I looked at the wind speeds on the graphic, and it wasn't terrible, which is not unexpected. Yeah, they're not terrible, but again, when it's that cold, even just a light breeze can make it feel much colder. Okay, and then yes, again, just want to reiterate that stretch of days with really cold air doesn't end there. It will continue into the following week as well. So a lot of cold air headed our way. Yeah. And some pretty tricky travel weather too. So Wednesday and Thursday. Obviously, we will be talking much more about this coming up on Fox 18 Now. I will be on at 3 and 4. Chief Meteorologist Steve Horsemeyer will be back at 5 and 6, 10 and 11, and he'll have your streaming show at 7:15. Go into more details about this upcoming messy weather. And again, it's not all doom and gloom. It's not a blizzard, nothing like that, but it is going to be impactful because of those travel days, Wednesday and Thursday. So we'll have more on that coming up on Fox 19 Now. I hope you guys have a great Monday. And yeah, try and stay warm with that colder air on the way. All right, bye.